even though I had just visualized multiple times winning this raffle, when they actually called my number and I'm sitting there holding the ticket and there's hundreds of people around me and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I actually won. And I deliberately manifested winning exactly what I wanted, which were iFly tickets, which is indoor skydiving. And I had them on my to buy list. And I had been already manifesting to win something deliberately. It was like the perfect manifesting, magical manifestation.
I love it. Yay, deliberate manifesting.
Yeah, deliberate manifesting.
So that's what we're talking about today. I'm here with Amy from Illuminating Joy. Amy is an amazing. Amy, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Amy Westmoreland from Illuminating Joy, and I am a manifesting teacher, a certified master coach. And yeah, I love talking about manifesting. I love manifesting. I love practicing. I love winning things.
We win things.
We win things. Affirmation. I win things. That's your affirmation that I'm now taking.
I love it. So my name is Elizabeth Cermak. I'm a psychotherapist and life coach and spiritual coach, and we're here today with Amy doing a collab. I'm so excited. And with the first part of our video actually is on Amy's channel. We talked about manifesting. We talked about both of our experiences of manifesting a raffle, winning a raffle. We didn't just manifest the raffle. I guess we manifested the raffle too, but just winning the raffle when we didn't know what the prize was.
Yeah.
And so we talk about on her channel in the part one of this video, if you want to go find it on her channel, we talk about how to manifest when you don't really know what the prize is. When there's a raffle or something like this, and you're concentrating on winning instead of what the actual prize is. So, but now in this part of the video, we're going to talk about manifesting when we knew what the prize was.
Yeah.
It was interesting too, because Amy talked about in the previous video, she talked about our reticular activating system and how when we are focusing on one thing, we see more of those things. And so as Amy and I were talking before we even started recording, we were like, oh, I won this. Like I started to remember more things that we had won. Well, we both did. So it's so interesting how you start thinking of yourself as a winner, and then you start remembering that you are a winner, and then you can live that out. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And we also both developed the mindset of being winners over time. We didn't start off that way. Like
Yes.
I had won stuff that were different than raffles before these stories that we're sharing specifically with the raffles. But I remember digging into that. I actually have a longer video about how to win, a technique to manifest winning stuff. I don't remember what I called it, but anyway, it talks about like some of those things. It's like a deep dive into that mindset of being a winner.
Nice. Perfect. Okay, so do you want to start with your example?
Yeah, so this is really cool. And then I have some dates for you so you can know how long it took specifically.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's timing is kind of off. Like I've had manifestations that are like that, and I've had some that take a little bit of time. This particular one took about a month. So it was December, I have it right here, December 9th, 2022. I suddenly realized that I wanted to win something again. So this desire came upon me. And I was like, well, sure, I've won stuff before, I can win it again. I didn't have anything in particular in mind. I started thinking about that, putting my attention on it and thinking about all the other stuff that I had won in the past. Then December 28th, I somehow ran across the indoor skydiving thing. And I was like, ooh, I've always wanted to try that. I messaged a friend. I'm like, do you want to go indoor skydiving with me sometime this year? She was like, sure. It was a couple days before New Year. So she's like, let's touch base with it the next week. I'm like, great idea. So I wrote it down on my list of like, buy iFly indoor skydiving tickets, like on my to-do list. Then on January 7th, with a different friend, I went to a film festival. And at the film festival, I walked in and there was a bunch of raffles. Like they had a ton of them, and you could put your little ticket in whatever bin you wanted. And I couldn't believe it. One of the raffles was a pair of iFly tickets. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. I'm manifesting to win something. I've won a raffle before, which we talked about in the last video. I'm literally gonna go indoor skydiving. I mean, I'm planning to do it. And I'm like, my spidey senses went up. I'm like, I
Yeah.
see my manifestation, right? Now, I did not have any sort of certainty I was going to win, but I was like, okay, so I had two raffle tickets. I put my name on both of them and put them in the same bin. I did not put my name in any other raffle. So I had no, I went all in. There was probably 100 to 150 people at this event. And I don't know who put their tickets in what raffles, but there were other tickets in there. And then I sat with my friend and we're watching, it's like a short film festival. We're watching these films and I keep thinking about they're going to announce the raffle. So I'm visualizing winning the raffle. And I'm very specifically focused on I am a winner. I've won stuff before. I don't need to win this time, but like, oh my gosh, I'd really love it. Like, and like,
Mhm.
this is like the perfect combination of things that is happening. Like, is this my manifestation? And I did my best to just relax and imagine it and then let myself be distracted with the short films we were watching. And then they started announcing the raffles, and mine was not the first one. There was a bunch of them. And I started hearing people be like, oh, it's me for whatever raffle they won. And I remembered a story. Actually, I just remembered this. I remembered this then. I have a friend who won a raffle before I won mine, my very first one, which we talked about last time. And she went to like, I think it was like a community center or like a church. And she's a really good manifester. And she decided to, every time they called out the winner, to be like, I won, I won. And it wasn't her. And she's like, she just was intuitively doing this. And she's like, I didn't even care what people thought. And she ended up winning one of the raffles. And so I thought, like, I remembered this, and I'm like, in my head, of course, I'm not gonna do it out loud. I'm like, every time they'd be like, someone won, I'd be like, it's my turn. I won, I won, I won.
It feels
So
good.
it
Yeah.
feels good. So they
Yeah.
come to the I Fly, and I get nervous,
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh my gosh, and what if I don't win? And it's okay. And believe me, I didn't need to win, but I really wanted to. So I had thoughts come up of like, I don't think I'm gonna win. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think I had both. So I'm holding the tickets and they announce a number. And I remember looking down and it wasn't my first number, it was my second number. And I looked at it and it's like, I almost didn't say anything. I was in shock that I won. And I was like, my friend is like, I think that's yours. I'm like, I know. She knew I was manifesting it because she's a manifester. So I hop up and I go up and I get the tickets. And I couldn't believe it. And then 6 months later, I went with a totally different friend and we went and had a great time doing indoor skydiving. But I just remember like such a series of events. And it was from
Yes.
December 9th to January 7th. So this is a different style of manifesting than just like running across your raffle that we talked
Yeah.
about with the pink shirt in the last video,
Yes.
where it just happened like real fast. Mine was like drawn out over time. But it works both ways.
I know. It was so interesting to hear you tell the whole story from the beginning because it's almost like it was divinely implanted. When you were like, I need to win something. It started there. Like, it's so
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
It
And
reminds me of that Bible verse, God gives you your desires. Like you were given a desire. Like you woke up to it.
I did. And I very distinctly remember because I had not focused on winning stuff in a while. I went through a phase where I was practicing my manifesting with winning stuff and I was like on a hot streak. I
Yeah.
just got busy focusing on other stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, when was
Oh,
that?
that was fun. Right.
Yeah, I liked that. Why don't I do that again? But it literally just came out of nowhere.
That's so cool. So pay attention to those nudges, when you get that. I think that's something too to this.
Yeah, and I think the desire to win something, and
Yeah.
then I was led through what I was going to win, and I didn't even
Hmm.
think to win. Why would I want to win iFlight tickets? I could buy them.
Yeah, right. It wasn't like you were saying, I'm going to win those tickets right away. You just wanted to win.
Yeah,
Again, it goes back to what I was saying in the last video about like feeling connected. Like I need it. Like I want to know I'm deep. Not that you were saying this, but this is more of my thoughts. I want to know that I am supported, that I am connected, that someone's listening.
for me, so I am supported. I
Mm,
feel or I am seen and heard and acknowledged,
mm,
recognized and remembered.
mm.
I'm remembered by like God, by the universe.
I'm
And
seen, heard, recognized, and remembered. Ooh,
yeah.
I love those.
Yeah. Because like, and we all have different things that we want to connect with. Like some people may feel seen and heard, and that's not the thing for them.
Yeah, right.
It's not about just replicating what we're talking about. It's finding that, and we should mention that too, because we've had
Yeah.
the experience with manifesting.
It's more of what you need
It's what you
personally.
need personally, yeah. And so even if we're over here saying, I feel seen, I am seen, I'm heard, that may not be the exact thing for you. Yours might be slightly different.
Mhm.
Yours might
Mhm.
be like, I need to feel validated, or I need to feel
Mhm.
acknowledged, or
Mhm.
not need, but it's like that's the feeling you're seeking,
Mhm. Mhm.
experience you're seeking.
Mhm. I'm trying to think of what else it could be. Like I want to feel safe, or um, and it could be different with different parts of your life. But I think we all have themes throughout our lives.
Yeah, we have themes, and like I know me, and so here's a good way to figure it out. I know when I have pretty much every time successfully manifested something that I could not do on my own. I needed that
Mm.
support from the divine,
Mhm.
the energy, right?
Mhm.
I have always teared up in gratitude.
Mhm. Me too.
And I have always felt like I have a gosh, what do I put? I just had a really cool manifestation, and I shared that in my subscribership. My town was out of water, not out of water.
Whoa. I get
My
it.
Yeah, my town, we went through a winter storm and it knocked our water plant off. And it malfunctioned, and so I was not able to use or drink my water for like a week. And I trusted that I would be okay. And I literally was guided through this like series of events where I ended up seeing this woman coming out of a grocery store with bottled water, and there was no bottled water in my town. And so I pulled in to the parking space. I ran in. I was able to get a case of water they just delivered, and I started like crying. Not because I got the water, but because like the sequence
Yes.
of events that had to happen for me to have been in the right place at the right time, like I felt so connected, so seen, so
Mhm.
um I don't know what it's a feeling for me.
Yeah. Yes, I totally get what you're saying. It's the words don't quite do it. There's not really one word. It's I don't know, validated or
Yeah.
but yeah.
So winning,
Yeah.
one of the cool things about winning is it's no fun if you can just make yourself win. Like if you can just go like pick your own, well, I get to pick the number out of the raffle, I'll pick mine. You don't get the same feeling from it.
Yes. If there's
It's
the
that,
the mysterious part of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my success story that I knew deliberately what it was. And then I have one of my viewers that has a good one, but what was yours?
Well, I should say this too, like, and we might have mentioned this, but that we didn't think of ourselves. Like, I have not, I don't know what age this was or how long ago this was where I made this shift, but I did not think of myself as a winner. I did not feel heard or seen or validated when I was younger. Like, I mean, there were times that I did. I shouldn't say that, but I didn't feel like I was the one who would win a prize. Let's say that. Like I would be like, oh, I never win these things, or seeing other people win might have like gotten on my nerves, And that's been a total shift for me now. I can see myself as a winner.
Yeah.
When I see other people win, like we were talking about this, like we get excited, like we know that they won. I'm with winners, Like I associate with people who win things. Um, Before that might have like bothered me if somebody else won. So like I didn't this isn't something that naturally came
Right.
for me.
We both deliberately worked on it in our own way, in our own time.
Mhm.
And also other experiences helped. Like you were telling me
Yes.
the poster.
Yes. Yes, that one helped. And that kind of goes with the one I was going to tell you about. We'll talk about the poster too, but I was that was a deliberate manifestation. I guess that wasn't a raffle, but the one I was going to tell you about was there was one on Instagram. This was a couple years back where it was a planner. I knew I loved the planner. It was a beautiful planner. I love planners. I had to stop myself from buying an extra planner this year because I'm like, I don't need any more. But I loved this planner, and I was like, yeah. And I was just really I feel like I was just kind of getting into manifesting. I guess it was more than a few years ago, but I was just kind of starting my business and starting like my Instagram and all that kind of thing, and I was feeling like a winner. And I was really working on it, but it wasn't that I was really practicing winning at this point. It was that I wanted the planner. And I did win. I forget what it was. It was like a lot of people. It was a huge account. They made us do like 3 things, and then if you did these 3 things, then he was gonna like pick the winner. I don't. It was like a random draw or
Random,
something.
random raffle draw. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got it in the mail. It was like a physical thing that I got in the mail. You know, it was so cool. It was so cool. So that was definitely, and that one I don't remember. Like the last one I was telling you about, it happened really fast. I had a lot of thoughts that said you're not good at this. I don't remember. I didn't have a lot of those thoughts with that one because I think because I was practicing winning at the time. It's kind of like what you said. I'm at that point a couple months ago when I won that raffle, I was I hadn't really won anything. I hadn't practiced this in a while. I wasn't thinking about winning something.
Yeah.
So that was like, I want to get in this. I want to practice. But back then I was already in the practice of it and it came very easily.
Yeah. And whenever I've won anything, and I love that you mentioned that, I have gotten into the space where I start associating myself with winners. I started thinking about winning. I start thinking about times I've won before. I start thinking about it more and more. And it's a self-concept to be like, I am a winner, I am lucky, I win
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
And it like builds up a little bit. So you had the one where it just happened really fast where you went into, what was it, Zumba?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like you just did that one like real fast.
It was like, we're having a raffle. And I'm like, I'm going to win.
Yeah, it was like bam, 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 bam.
And then all these thoughts were like, you can't do it. I was like, yes, I am. And then it happened. It was like that fast.
These other stories we have though, there was time where we
Yeah.
entered the raffle. There's a key piece here, and I teach this, and I know you probably have your own style of teaching it as well. Not needing it.
Yes. Oh, I just watched a video of yours where you put your hand on your heart and you say, I want it, but I don't need it. Like you soothe yourself
Yeah,
when you
like
feel like you need it.
yeah,
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
yeah, and it's like winning is really a great thing to practice with because okay, so my favorite things to practice with manifesting are like rainbows, winning,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
gift cards, because these are things that you don't need.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a
Yeah.
rainbow, you don't need a gift card, you don't need to win
Mm-hmm.
something.
Mm-hmm.
But when they happen, there's always that element of like, it came to me, which honors the orchestration, the divine, the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
intelligence, whatever you like to think of it as. Where
Mm-hmm.
for me, I don't like to feel like I'm alone in the manifesting process.
Right. Me too.
Because then it gets like burdensome and I'm like, oh, everything's on my shoulders.
Yes.
I appreciate these types of manifestations because number one, you don't need them, so they're great to practice with.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows you how there's another side to it. There's another key player in the game that is supporting you.
Yes.
And it's really
Yeah.
you, but you
Yeah. Right. But it's all over. But it's you. But yes.
yes, like yeah. Bashar says it's the all is one and the one is all.
Yes. Yes.
Um, are you gonna tell the poster story?
Yeah. So I'll tell the poster story too. You just reminded me of something you were saying. Uh, I don't know. It'll come back to me because you were talking about how there were similarities between what we were talking about. Oh well, we'll talk about the poster story. So this wasn't a raffle, but this was. I have a lot of Paul McCartney. My husband and I go see Paul McCartney all the time, and so I have a lot of stories of manifestation. Oh, okay. I'm just remembering what I was going to say. This goes with what I'm saying
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now too. Okay, so just the fact that it changes your life, just a little thing. Like this whole stuff, it really is life changing because just this idea that I win things, it changes you. It changes your brain, it changes the things that you see, it changes your actions because before I wouldn't have even like thought of it possible that I could win that raffle, that I could win even the shirt or I wouldn't have even tried on
yeah.
Instagram. I don't even know if I would have noticed it because I wasn't thinking of myself as someone who can or who wins things. So like it changes your actions, it changes your brain, it changes the things you see, it changes the possibilities. It's really that's I forgot about saying how it's life changing. So that's what I just was gonna say.
It is life changing, yeah.
Yeah, and so it goes along with this. I was telling Amy this before we started recording. My husband and I went and saw Paul McCartney. This was like 2 years ago, I think, in Orlando. And we walked in the stadium and we were like one of the first ones in. And like, when you're in a stadium and you're the first ones in and it's a kind of an energy that's there. And I always think of like, creation is finished, all thoughts exist. Sometimes I think of thoughts as like in the air around us. I know this seems weird, but like they aren't our thoughts. They're thoughts. And I just did a video about this, about how these thoughts don't mean anything. It's a Course in Miracles lesson. Like just that all thoughts exist, right? So we walk into the stadium and I have a poster that says, please say hi, Elizabeth. And I want Paul McCartney to read my poster and say hi, Elizabeth. And of course, why wouldn't you, right? So we walk in and I hear this, I'm all excited, like we had this wonderful week, and I hear this voice that says, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. And it
So
was
this like
so,
voice thought here.
it was so clear. I mean, it wasn't a voice, but it was a voice. You know, it was like this energy for, and it sounded like me. It was like me. I was saying that I don't deserve it. And I was just like, oh, that's interesting. And there was not enough time to deal with that. I didn't argue with it. I just let it be, let it be. And then like 5 minutes later, we're in the stadium and he was doing a sound check and he read my sign and said, hi, Elizabeth. So it just like, it all, that thought, all those thoughts, they don't matter. Like that says you can't do it, you don't deserve it. And I think the key is, I think I used to, and especially as I started as a therapist, we did a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy, which is like figuring out what you're thinking and how that's connected to how you're feeling, which is so helpful. But like trying to argue with the thought doesn't work. The thought is there. It's a choice. You can choose that thought or another one, or the other one that's floating through the air, like whichever one you want to grab. And of course, the Miracle says you are not responsible for the thoughts you have. You are responsible for the thoughts you keep.
Ooh,
So it's like, just be responsible for the ones you keep. Don't worry about the ones you have.
yeah. And you talk about A Course in Miracles a lot. I've not done a deep dive on that, but you have some great nuggets of wisdom from there that I love. I love watching your videos.
That's how I started in like the whole spiritual. I started with past life. Brian Weiss, he did Many Lives, Many Masters.
Oh,
And then
yeah,
I
yeah.
went to a past life therapist who introduced me to A Course in Miracles. So this was like over 20 years ago, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Many Lives, Many Masters. God, I haven't read that book in a long time. It's
That
good.
was my first entrance to all of this, I think.
And I want to say too, this again is a practice. It's putting it into practice. It's experimenting with it and seeing how it works. When a thought pops up that goes against your manifestation, or it's a negative self-concept, like, oh, I don't deserve this. You know, I've had those a lot too. And I have found when I'm like really in sync and aligned with what it is that I'm wanting to experience or manifest, I do the same thing. I notice them, I acknowledge them,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like grab them and hold them down and be like, I have to tell you,
And,
like I don't,
or like, I hate you thoughts.
yeah, or like, why are you here? Like I find that I'm much more like, even if it's not like removed from it, because sometimes you can really feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But if I'm
yeah.
like, what I like
I
to
felt it. Yeah.
what I like to say is I should think this. And that negates the, oh no, it shouldn't be here, right? Like, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
it's interfering. I'm like, no, I should be thinking this.
This is Dora. Oh, I was gonna say that too. It's a good sign. What if it's a good sign that those thoughts are coming up? It means something really big is coming. Paul
Yeah,
McCartney's about to say, hi, Elizabeth. Like that's the sign that something big is coming.
yeah, yeah. And again, you have the choice to, this is the cool part about us as um creators. We have the choice to give meaning or whatever, like
Yeah.
definition to whatever it is we're looking at. And I learned that from Bashar. He really goes deep diving into that. And it's like you can give something positive, neutral, or negative meaning. And it's like
Yes.
if you're giving it negative meaning and not even knowing, why not give it positive meaning without knowing? Like what
You
it,
might as well.
yeah. And lightly, I will say I went through phases with my manifesting, and I always like to tell people about it where I really needed my manifestations to work out.
Mm,
And it's not that gripping, like I need this to be positive. It's more like, let me just try and experiment with it and say it's positive and
hmm
see what happens.
I like that. And yeah, I mean, sometimes we do need things. So that means we're gonna get them. Like we could
Yeah.
say it that way too. Like
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay that I need it, or it's okay to feel that I need it.
Yes, exactly. And um I always like to see it, and I talk a lot about need in my content because to me there's a huge difference between survival needs
Yeah.
and like you don't need a luxury handbag.
Right,
You
right,
want one, right?
right.
but you do need your survival needs to be met type of thing. So with each person, I say find that discernment within yourself of what that looks like. But a lot
Yeah.
of people come to me and they're like, I need to win the lottery. I'm like, no, you don't need to win the lottery. You want to win the lottery, right?
Right.
And it's understanding that by just acknowledging that, you can move into a place of more alignment.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's having that discernment with need.
I like that, like picky choose, and it's no judgment, like choose whatever that is. But I like what you're saying too, because it's kind of you're moving into alignment by saying, I'm cool, like everything, things are good now. This,
Yeah.
like, and that gratitude.
Yeah. And being in the present moment, allowing the present moment to be as it is a really powerful place to be.
Hmm. I was gonna say one more thing about this. I think this is very relevant. That idea that you don't deserve this. The reason why that came was because I had had a week of just like absolute fun, and I was feeling, I don't know if there was something going on in the world. I was feeling kind of like, oh, guilty. Like, should I be out here having a vacation and something bad was going on? It's about, um, and I think right now there's a lot of things going on in the world. Not that
Yeah.
we get into that, but like knowing that it's okay to manifest still. If
Yes.
somebody, like, if you have somebody going through a hard time, like that it doesn't, it's not hurting anybody. Like you do deserve this no matter what. Does that make sense what I'm
Yes,
getting
absolutely.
at?
Yeah. And I've never, well, no, I shouldn't say never. It's been a long time since I've come from that position of like feeling that way because I worked through that a long time ago. And what I can say is when I worked through it, I
Hmm.
became much more inclined to support other manifestations for other people,
Hmm. Me too.
you know? And so
Hmm.
to me, it was like my original thought process was, oh, am I being selfish for wanting this fun thing with other things are going on? And but when I allowed myself to have it, then it was like, oh, now I can support these people
Hmm.
in their situation. It actually becomes
Yes,
exponentially, you can,
it compounds.
yeah, it compounds, yeah.
It's kind of like what you said about not wanting to be alone in this. Like, I mean, alone, we could think of it alone in the universe or alone with each other, whatever. But yeah, that I think that's just an important thing right now to say that it's get on your manifestation. Like, it's good. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah. And we all go through different phases of learning these things and experimenting with them and practicing with them in
Hmm.
their own manifesting. And I have just found that the more I allow myself to align with my desires, the more I have to give.
Yes, that's absolutely true too. I think, yeah, yep.
It's like, look, we did that with all of
Hmm.
these raffles, and now here we are being like, hey, you can do it too.
Hmm.
You know, it's possible for you.
I have to write down what you just said. I'm writing it down. The more I align with my desires, the more I have to give. I mean, that's so true.
Yeah.
Hmm. Perfect. That's a perfect ending,
Yeah.
a perfect conclusion. So, do you have? Go ahead.
But we have two more stories.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I thought we were concluding. Okay, that's right. You have a
Yeah.
success story.
I want to read this. I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah, yeah.
read it. Someone commented this on my channel. It's kind of long, but it's really helpful. They just got into manifesting 3 or 4 months before this. And they said their name is Hesitant Possum. Hello, Hesitant Possum. Thank you so much for sharing this. This was my first intentional sweepstakes competition raffle win. It was my first attempt as well. And while I'd been learning about what works for me, I'd seen that there was a big difference in outcome between an affirmation that I believe, which was accepting the risk of belief without proof, and a simple robotic affirming. To manifest this win, I visualized with my eyes open being in a large room with everyone answering trivia questions. This raffle is the intermission part of a weekly trivia night that they go to. I visualized a paper raffle ticket. I visualized a variety of different chocolates, boxes and bags of chocolates, because that's what I wanted to win. So they specifically wanted to win that. And I visualized being handed my prize, not being handed the other trinkets and gadgets and prizes. So they very specifically honed in on the prize that they wanted.
Okay.
I said out loud a few times, I've won, how do I feel? And then I waited until I had an emotional response.
Mm,
I love that. I've
I
won,
like
how
that.
do I feel? And then you
Hmm.
pause and you wait.
Yeah.
The feeling that happened was feeling distracted, Like it surprised me that I'd won and feeling happy and grateful. So now notice they intuitively were like, how do I feel? They wait for the answer to come
Hmm.
and distracted, surprised they won, and grateful and happy. Well, I mean, I would never have been like, oh, I'm gonna feel distracted, but they did.
Distracted, interesting. But you can. That's absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. Because the creation's finished, they tapped into the winning.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
It seemed very real. I was there, and then I let it go and all but forgot about it. Last week, when I didn't win, because it's a weekly event on, from what they said, it looks like it's every Wednesday they do this trivia thing. I repeated the steps again when I got home. Tonight, while I was getting ready to go out, I was chatting to myself, lightly affirming out loud that I am valuable, accepted, people enjoy being around me, and I was in a peaceful mood. Specifically, I affirmed, I am lucky. I have always been very lucky. My family are lucky, and that this is natural for me. So
Ooh,
they had their affirmations.
yeah.
I hadn't been actively focusing on tonight's raffle while getting ready
Mhm.
at all. I just meant what I was thinking about as a broad, inclusive statement. And then I asked out loud, please encourage me, and I let it go. Now, I want to stop here for just a second before I go on with the story and notice how we all have won raffles, deliberate raffles, but we have a
Mhm.
slightly different way that it plays out in our mind because it's unique to you. And that's the thing with manifesting, right? Is to allow it to be natural and unique through your own system.
Mhm.
When I continuing with the story, when I went tonight, I was chatting with a trivia teammate, not paying attention. I wanted to win, but I wasn't waiting on it. And another teammate said to me, "Oh, that's your number." I felt distracted, then surprised, and then happy and grateful.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. It was identical to the feeling work I had done. And yes, I won the chocolates and I didn't get to choose my prize, which meant that like they specifically won the chocolates and not one of the other prizes.
Okay.
For other newbies like me, before starting anything intentional, to calm down, I visualize myself as though I'm stepping onto a frozen lake and this lifestyle seems the same. Trust and surrendering to the doubt that aren't too different. I might have read that sentence wrong. But anyway, they went on to say, as a side note, little doubts had come up, which these are some of the doubts that came up for them, and they put it in a
Yeah.
bullet. This isn't real. It absolutely doesn't exist. I'm going to get my hopes up, and then I'm going to feel silly, stupid, or embarrassed. I won't be able to trust myself again after this fails. Maybe I'm going mad. This is how psychosis looks. I am wasting my time. It won't work, and I will have spent months trying, time that I won't get back. It works, but it won't work for me.
Mm.
So these are
Mm.
thoughts that they had.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
won't be able to manifest if I can't stop wavering and doubting. I talked myself through all the moments of fear and came back to myself. And the fears do reoccur, but I talked myself through them again and again. And I would say, I've seen it work. It's real. And they said, however this goes, I will be okay. I just need to know that it could happen for me. And
Cool.
that's
Yeah.
what free will means, the freedom to choose. And I'm allowed to have this. Nothing is too good for me.
Ooh, good.
So they went on and talked a little bit more about like their experience because they're new to manifesting. But I really wanted to share that because again, their success story, like ours, includes the doubtful feelings. Like we didn't have perfect thinking.
No. Hmm.
It's not, it's not that they come up, it's what you do with them when they come up.
Yes. And isn't it interesting how they're so similar? We all, I mean, they're different for everyone because we're all, it's all personal, but like those thoughts were very similar to thoughts I've had, you know? So it's like there's a force there that's trying to, I wouldn't even say there's a force that's trying to stop it. I think it's actually the force. I think everything is helping you to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did we do your story where you specifically manifested the raffle?
Yes, the one on Instagram
Oh
that I
my gosh.
manifested. And then there was another one too. It
You're
was
right.
a Halloween candy
Oh, the
raffle.
Halloween candy, yeah.
And I was at this like luncheon thing, and they did and again they did the they announced that they were going to do it as a very split second one. I didn't. I think that one I did have a little bit like more of the thoughts of like this isn't working or not. Like kind of like what she said. This doesn't. It works for others, but it doesn't work for me. I think that might have come up like, or this is fake.
Yeah.
that one might have come up, but yeah, I'm gonna win it, and then I won it, and all those times, and even like when you're talked about too, it's like, am I seeing it right? You know, like, did I win? And then people have to like almost, if there's like this point where you don't realize that you actually won.
Yeah. And I remember like I paused and I was looking
Yeah,
at it, and it was like it took a moment to register
yeah.
I had won, even though I'd been actively visualizing it, and I really love,
That's why it's so important. This what we do to visual, because otherwise, that reticular activating system, it's not gonna happen. You know.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I love that. And I love there's the commenter story too, because, you know, I think the coolest part of that story, reading it, I've read it several times, but reading it again is like they asked, how do I feel winning? And they let the answer come to them.
I love that.
And
That's
it
beautiful.
exactly matched. Who would ever think I'm going to feel distracted? No way. You know,
Right.
that's what it was.
But you're not. You don't know. Like that's why I love what they did. Like they stood with it. I won. Now what? And then you allow it. You don't tell yourself what it is.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's important too with practicing is sometimes you'll just be in sync. You'll be like, I know exactly what to think and how to think. And other times it's like it takes a minute to kind of maneuver
Mhm.
and just do
Mhm.
your best, allow the negative thinking, the contradictory thinking, and practice. And again, key point here, you and I are practicing.
Yeah. Yes. And I think all of this too, like you have to take it and do it in your way. I mean, that's the hugest thing. Like listen to all this stuff, listen to success stories. I think it is good to listen to success stories and people who have done it so you know. And then you have to like almost not forget it, but like take the concepts and just you know how to do it.
Yeah.
We
So
all know.
yeah. And so if you're out there right now and you're like, okay, I want to try this, intend to win something and or
Mm-hmm.
intend to win a raffle or intend to, you could be general or specific, but like
Mm-hmm.
intend to have that experience for yourself and put it into practice and
Mm-hmm.
see what comes up.
If you want, and just you might not happen. You might say, "Oh, there's nothing. There's no contest or anything." Well, there will be.
Yeah, one will pop up. Yeah, because your system will start looking for it. Your RAS will start looking for it.
Mm-hmm. You'll find it. And
Yeah.
let us know. Comment below. I can't wait to hear. I want to hear
Yes.
success stories.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. And it's really helpful too, and I just want to point this out. A lot of times people will get success stories and they return to videos, mine, other people's, yours, and they leave the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's so helpful for other people to see that because, sometimes I know if I'm like watching someone that I feel like is further along than me, it helps me to read the comments and to be like,
Yes.
other people can figure it out. I can figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Reading your channel, like, or I think it's mostly the lately, like this Instagram subscribership, and like I love seeing the success stories. It just gives me something every time I see one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, we're having a lot of fun there. If you don't know what it is, it's Instagram offers like monthly subscriberships now, which
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was. And then I was like, I'm just gonna do this. And I have a little community and
It's fun. Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. We're doing a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, well, this has been great, Amy. I don't think we mentioned on this channel either. Well, if you watch both videos, you see part one on Amy's channel, but we've known each other for like 40 years. We've known each other since third grade.
yeah,
So it's so great. It's always great to get together with her.
I know.
And
Can you believe it's gonna be our 30th high school reunion?
I know I just love when we get together and what happens. Like it flows and
Yeah, and we just saw each other for the first time in years a couple months ago, and it was
mhm.
fantastic. We
It was
picked
so fun.
it was so much fun. Um, yeah, so
So it's been, we'll do it again.
yeah, thank you for having me, Elizabeth.
Yes. We'll talk soon.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.